Sorry, my internet's a bit slow. I'm opening up. Wife, brothers of late Oshibona, owner of collapsed Ikoyi building, allegedly fight over his money, exotic cars, and other assets. Him body never cooled. Whatever he did, right or wrong, he's facing his maker as we are speaking now. We are not his maker. His maker will judge him much better than we would, because we are all hypocrites. But this is a little embarrassing. If this is true, it's embarrassing. Someone said the brothers are shameless. All are. All. If there's any justice in the world, these assets should be sold to take care of those the insurance will not cover. You have, listen. You have a youth copper daughter. The youth copper daughter that you have trained to youth copper. You have not made 1 naira on her head. Even though I don't agree with, I must eat my children's sweat. No. But at least you should see your child grow and become fruitful. Have children, get a husband. The young woman that wanted to get married 1 month from now. These are even the ones that went to school that we know, that are on Instagram, that we can locate. The bricklayer that went to work. My bricklayers that work here. There's one guy, what's his name? That guy that does all our work in the house. I've forgotten his name now. He's not on Instagram. If something happens to him, does he not have a wife or a baby mama or a sister or an auntie that are relying on him for sustenance? They are the ones that this thing should go for if there's justice in the world. What are the family sharing? Sharing what? The family right now should come together and say, look, this and this and this is what happened. We have this. We're going to sell them and we're going to use it to compensate the families. If there were 10 things, if the family now had sense and there were 10 things, they would come together and say, okay, you know what? We are keeping these 5. We are taking these 5 things and we are putting them up on auction, public auction, Rolls Royce, this, that, put them up. Whatever is guaranteed, each of the families get to share equally. No amount of money will wrap away the pains. None. Is never going to be. But you see, while they are crying, let them have rice to eat. Some can't even afford to bury their dead. Thank you, taste buds. I know the government and I trust the government of Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He's going to do quite a lot of good stuff regarding this. And I'm proud of it. But when it's done, if they sell one Rolls Royce, that Rolls Royce, what's that thing called? Baby, what's that? Cullinan. Cullinan, if you pay the correct duty of a Cullinan, it's 200 and, what am I saying? It's like 300 million. I'm sure from just the cars alone, you get 1 billion. If you divide 1 billion naira by 41 people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Divided by 41, you will get 2,439,000. Each person will get 2.4 million from the house, from the assets of the man. This is not even all, this is just cars. These just cars. I'm sure. Let me not say I'm sure. I'm positive, in my humble opinion, that if they sell this man's cars, they'll get a billion naira. Someone says it's more than no, it's about 1 billion times 40. Do 2.5 times 41. 2.2,500,000 times 41. You get? No, it's more. It's 20 something. Oh, 23 million. Sorry. See money. 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 41. Even that one self no reach. Each family will get 23 million. Each family to get 23 to 24 million, if not 25 million self. A woman crying in the village that has lost her son, imagine what 25 million will do to her life. It's never going to bring her son back. But at least some of the work the son will have done over the next 5 years, the family will still be taken care of. But you see, this greed, it also lies there. The moment that 25 million enters that family will scatter. That family will scatter. If you say, okay, let's take this 25 million and put it into educational fund for the children, the government that collects the 25 million too will begin to hear story. Nigeria has turned to a luta continua. Loot, seize, reloot. So there is nowhere until we get this gospel of mammon out of our lives, we will continue going down this rabbit hole looking for what is not lost. I have said this over and over and over again. Let me tell you something. God cannot be mocked. This man was a very religious person. May his soul rest in peace. He paid tithe. He had many spiritual fathers. He prayed and he fasted. He did not stop anything. He did not stop anything. Let me tell you something. God did not guarantee any Christian that you have money or you have wealth if you pray and fast. It's nowhere in the scripture. God said he will take care of your needs and he will provide what you need for your enjoyment. Need. Not what you want, what you need. So as a Christian, you are provided for, and there's also a clause because you now have to study how the churches, the old or the first set of churches, provided for themselves. If you read Acts chapter 4 from verse 32, there's a clear explanation. Those who had sold and gave to the apostles to distribute to those who had need. So yes, God's going to help you, but you're going to help yourselves. They have turned the gospel of need to a gospel of greed. And you see, as long as you allow, I'm diverting a little bit from this because I'm still going to come back to this. As long as you allow men who stand on pulpit and from morning to night, all they preach about is money, you are destroying the moral fabric of the society. You are destroying the spiritual fabric of the society, and you are at the same time simultaneously destroying the intellectual fabric of the society. Let me ask you a question. What legacy has been left behind? They can fight over cars. They can fight over houses. My mother is a professor of law. If she dies today, which I don't pray, because she's still young, I can't inherit her professor. I cannot inherit the professor. The professor dies that day. Nothing for me to inherit. We should concentrate more on values that cannot be inherited, but legacies that can never diminish. Let's think about these things. My father is a medical doctor. He has a couple of houses. We can fight over that when he passes on. Nobody can inherit his medical certificate. That's the end. Nobody can inherit Wole Soyinka's Nobel laureate, the Nobel Peace Prize. You can inherit a company, you can inherit a car, you can inherit a house. You cannot inherit somebody's education. work ethics, dedication. You cannot. And these are the things that were valuable in the Nigeria of old that have lost value under the gospel of everything must be money. I'm not rich, neither am I poor. I can afford to buy myself a few luxuries. I can afford to take care of my family. I don't live in a rough part of town, but I'm not rich. Sometimes I think about it. What if I pass on? What's left? And that's when I come forward and I ask God for revelation so I can preach something to the free nation, so they can have something to hold on to. I've seen the work God has used me to do in this life. I've seen how people are beginning to wake up from religious slavery. And I ask him to use me to do more. Because that, not my car that will expire in 3 years and become old model. Not my watches that, yes, might carry value and they could be part of a heirloom. But they're not my legacy. My legacy is the work I have done to free the minds of Nigerians from mindless, wicked doctrines that take you nowhere. If you pay tithe, things will not be tight. It's a lie from the pit of hell. You have seen it. Is it not a tither? If you sow seed, you can never be in need. Have you seen it? You see, I love my Muslim brothers and sisters. When you die, they wrap you in a cloth and throw you in the ground. They're less materialistic than we are. The average Christian thinks materialism from morning till night. We can do better. In 1960, the construction of the Cocoa House began in Ibadan. And it was built over the period of 5 years. Completed in 1965. I was born in 1976. So Cocoa House was born 11 years before me. Or should I say completed 11 years before I was born. 11 years before, as I don't old reach. There was a time in the 80s when Cocoa House caught fire. I want to Google it to give you the exact time. I was young and I remember very clearly. Cocoa House fire. I think it was maybe late 80s, thereabout. The building was gutted by fire on the 9th of January 1985. I'm looking for that. Yes, it's on Wikipedia. The entire building was gutted by fire on the 9th of January 1985, which began on the top floors from a malfunctioning electrical equipment. It was closed from the public until it was renovated in August 1992 and opened for commercial use. The building is managed by Wemabod Estates Limited, a subsidiary of Odua Group of Companies. It is the property of Odua Investment Company Limited. The building was built in 1965. Was completed in 1965. By 1985, 20 years later, it got burnt. All of it. The structure still stood. 1992, it was renovated and is opened. I grew up in Ibadan, so I'm familiar with this story. There's somewhere called Cocoa Dome. If you've ever lived in Ibadan or you know Ibadan, who knows Cocoa Dome? Cocoa Dome, Cocoa Dome, Cocoa Dome. right? There's a nightclub that we all used to go there. It was called Legend, with some guy called Mario that used to run Legend. If you finished university between 1995 and 2005, you will know Legend nightclub, or whatever name it became, Oriental. It was a nightclub there. We used to go clubbing in Cocoa House. There was a place called Cocoa Dome. It was Legend at a point. Buki, don't hold on, Shomadeo. Yes, the Lebanese guy, God bless you. So it was a Friday into Saturday. We used to party there during our UI days. So I know Cocoa House, I know Cocoa Dome. It is located around that Dugbe area. I've forgotten the exact name of the area, but it's around Dugbe area. Let me tell you something. I'm using Cocoa House as a point of reference. Cocoa House was 23 floors, 23 stories. This one that fell down in Ikoyi was only 21. And the swimming pool, God bless you, there was a swimming pool there. Dugbe, that's the area now. Cocoa House got burnt. Just to show you the structural integrity of the building. It got burnt and still stood. Cocoa House is older than I am. And guess what? There was corruption then. When Cocoa House was built, there was corruption. Because many people still complained about Cocoa House and said money was diverted from one place to the other. Can you compare the corruption then to the corruption now? I'll tell you a joke. A Nigerian man went to visit his American friend in the US, who was a senator. The Nigerian man who was a senator in Nigeria, or a high-ranking public office holder. And then the man got to the US. After their meeting, the US senator invited him home and said, you know what, spend the night with me. So he got to the house. He saw a beautiful Rolls Royce, a nice Bentley, a Ferrari, and a Lamborghini. And he was like, wow, you're doing well. See your cars. The American senator smiled. They went into the house. Beautiful house. Well finished. Exquisite furniture. The guy was just nodding his head, saying, man, you're doing well. They now went upstairs. After dinner, they were chilling on the balcony, sipping champagne. And the American office holder now asked the American office holder, said, brother, you're doing very well. How do you get all this money in America? The American senator laughed. He pointed. He said, you see that bridge there? Nigerian man said, yes. Tapped his pocket. 5%. Six months later, the American senator came to Nigeria for a meeting. And when they were done, he went over to the Nigerian senator's house. As they were driving in, he saw the same Rolls Royce he has. Black, white, grey, silver. Turned around, saw Bentley. The SUV, 2, black and white. The Mulsanne, 3, black, white, grey. Then the Arnage, 2. Then the Ferrari, he saw 3. The Lamborghini, he saw 2. And enough Jeeps filled the whole compound. What are you senating that I'm not senating in America? They entered inside the house. They had dinner, they had tea. Then in the evening, they ended up on the balcony again. So the American senator now talked to the Nigerian and asked him the same question. Said, brother, in his American accent, how are you able to get all this money? The Nigerian man like, my brother, the same thing we do that we do too. You see that bridge? The American look said, what bridge? 100%. You don't get the joke. The American chopped 5% of the bridge. The Nigerian did not even bother to build the bridge. He chopped 100%. What am I trying to say in essence? There's corruption in any part of the world. Even during our father's time, there was corruption. Corruption is not a new word. Even during the time of Christ, Judas collected how many pieces of silver to sell Christ? Yes, brother. I did promise I was going to bring you on, and I have just 1 minute because Taste Buds, I want to go and join Taste Buds live.
Yeah, I don't have much to say, Evan. So I'll come from a professional point of view, okay?
Awesome.
Because I'm a civil engineer. And I have my master's from one of the best investors in the world. So,
where are you based as a civil engineer?
In Glasgow.
Oh, awesome. Go ahead. We really need these.
Yeah. So, I also have a civil engineering company in Nigeria that's functional. We do some projects. We've done some projects for like 5 years ago. We started like 5 years ago. So let's go to the point of the collapse. Yeah. So that's the main thing. You see, in Nigeria, we don't normally value lives of people. Normally, like if we do, this kind of thing would not happen. If he knows that the government of Nigeria doesn't play with the life of its citizens, you wouldn't even try to do something like that without following the standard. You get what I'm saying? For example, let's say this collapse doesn't happen now. Let's say it happens when people are already living in the building. Yeah? There's what we call live load in design. When you design a building, there's what we call live load. Now, the live load are not even there. That's the people who are supposed to be living are not even living on the structure yet. Then this collapse happens. You get what I'm saying?
Clearly.
So of course, it doesn't value lives of the people who is going to be selling their apartment for, I think he said it's about $1.3 million per apartment. So you're taking that money.
Best.
Yeah, you see, you're taking that money and you not value the people's life who are giving you that money. Does that make any sense? So now let's talk to the people who are building houses. That's the clients. Most of them think engineers are fools. They want to take their money. They don't want to follow the right way, okay? So because one of their neighbors who have been building for the past 50 years tell them, no, don't give those engineers money. They normally lie to people and the rest. Then he said, okay, let me give Baba Sule 10,000 naira to do this work for me. You get what I'm saying? Shortcuts. There are a lot of people that does that. Eh? One day, you would also regret that if you do that, if you don't follow the normal rules and regulations. You don't tell people go to school for no reason. I watched his interview. He was saying engineer told him to buy 1,000 kVA and he went to buy 500. Why would you do that? We in engineering, we take there's what we call factor of safety. When we tell you do something, we've calculated factor of safety with it. But he bought 500, yeah. Of course, 500 kVA will work, but it won't give you what we are already designing for. After maybe 2 or 3 years, it will fail. And then you come and say, you don't know what's happening. No, it's not witchcraft. It is you. Do you get it? And you were saying something like people saying God would. You can't stand on the road and a truck is coming and say, God will protect me. No. You need to watch the road and use the pedestrian bridge if there is one. Use the zebra crossing if there is one. You can't just behave like a mad person and think God will just come and take you off the road like that. No, things are not done like that. So everyone should take note of what is needed to be done. Follow the standard. You know, this thing is in the regulation. There is current governing the engineering body. There are rules and regulations that you must follow. Yeah. So if you're not following it, just know that you're totally going on the wrong side. If engineers give you what to do, just do it exactly how they ask you to do it. If you don't do it, if your building is standing, then maybe luck. It's just luck, because one day it will fail because you're not doing the right thing. Do you get what I'm saying? You mentioned structural integrity. That integrity that you say is a very, very important thing, that difference. Integrity that you say, normal human being need to have integrity. Structural integrity is very, very important too. Do you get it? Very, very important. But people don't take it serious. They don't take it serious at all. So please, everyone that's watching, if you have money and you think you want to do a project, do it well. If you don't do it well, the consequence will come to you. That is it. It's not me that will bear it. It is still you that will bear the consequences. So you just have to do the right thing at the right time. You get it? No shortcut in structure. There is no shortcut in structures. That's just the standard. Okay? So that's what I just have to put in.
Notice lack of PPE on Nigerian sites.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So
from the gospel musicians singing and dancing, from little clips of the site. Is that how you guys work in Glasgow?
No. See, everything. In Nigeria, we have governing body, we have NSC, we have CORED. You can't come to my site and see my workers working without safety. It's not possible. Do you get what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. That's why I said most people don't value lives. The reason why we put safety first in every site is that to avoid calamity or any sort of injury, yeah? Because something like that kind of structure that is 21 story, there are a lot of things that will be going up that might fall on your head, and you're not wearing helmets, then you fall on your head, you just break your skull. But with the helmet, even if you have injury, it will be what? Reduced. When you ask people to do something for themselves, they'll think you are saying they should do it for you. No. Every site must obey with the rules of safety. Now, I'm not going to say the engineers there didn't advise this. Of course, the man wouldn't even ask them to wear PPE because it sounds like he doesn't care. Yeah, the developer sounds like he doesn't care.
No, we can't say what we are not 100% aware of.
No. Of course, we can't say what we are not aware of, but we saw the letter of the consultants that's circulating that withdrew. Okay, that is to show you that they are not following what they are supposed to do. In terms of safety, in terms of following the structural integrity, in terms of following the design. That's supposed to be what, like, if you don't do that and you employ me as an engineer, I can't proceed. Because if something happens, I will be the one that will be responsible, not you. Do you get it? So safety is very important, and people should always know that when a structural engineer or a civil engineer or any consultancy that you're using asks you to do something, just follow the rules. The rules and regulation is important. So that's it.
All right. Thank you so much. I have another brother here who's an engineer. Wait, let him also drop his 2 cents. Go ahead, sir.
Daddy Freeze, good morning from my side.
Good morning.
My name is
How are you?
Godwin Maduabuchi. I'm fine. Good morning, my colleague. I'm in South Korea.
South Korea. Oh, wow. That's where they have very tall buildings.
Exactly. Exactly. So, good morning, my colleague. Briefly, I want to say that in Nigeria, we don't even value our lives. We ourselves. Because if we value our life, I can remember when I was still in Nigeria, I lost a job. The reason being that the brother of my client complained to his brother, telling him that my foundation is too strong, that I'm using because I did my NYC in Bayelsa State, and in Bayelsa State they have a swampy story. So his side, if I have to use Anambra maybe to see standard to do the job, after I finish the building, it will be during the rainy season, flood will be disturbing him. So I have to raise his foundation high so that to checkmate, even I have to put my money to checkmate flood. But the brother complained to his, as in the guy supervising the job, complained to his brother, the foundation is too strong, that I'm using Bayelsa standard to build for them. So you see that most times the clients don't even, they want to cut costs, just like cut corners, just like what my brother said. He said there is no shortcut in structures. What caused this collapse is the dead load. The life load is not even
it's not even there.
It's not even there. The weight of the structure is what caused the collapse. It means that the structure cannot even carry itself, not to talk of considering the people that will now live.
At all.
Yeah. So you see, Nigerians we don't want to adhere to standard. Most times, what we have, like one bag of cement, is not even complete. And when one bag of cement is not complete, the strength of material has reduced. Now, most of the buildings, most of the places we build our houses, we don't even use the correct specification, like gravel. In Anambra, they use one particular stone, one red stone like that. When I came to Anambra, I saw the red stone. Most times you find it difficult using the stone to cast your building. So, but they will tell you, after all, this man did for decking. It has been standing since. This man did has his stone.
I'm sorry, guys, who are enjoying Buds now. Taste Buds is live. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Please follow her handle is @TasteBudsNG, and she's talking about, talking about finances in a union. Thank you so much, the two engineers. God bless you. I really appreciate you guys. I'm rushing now to join Taste Buds. Thank you so much. We'll have another session where we'll invite engineers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going now to join her. Take care of yourselves @TasteBudsNG.
Thank you.
I'm going to be talking finances. Take care, guys.